Alrighty, folks. In the spirit of Zohran Mamdani being the new mayor-elect of New York, which is a very, very depressing reality, we're now going to examine some TikTokers and see what they have to say about the advent of radical pro-jihadist socialism in New York City.
If you encounter somebody who tries to tell you he's a socialist, like let's say your boomer parents, this is what you need to explain to them.
Shut up. Get out.
Mamdani is not a socialist. He's a democratic socialist, okay?
Nice.
Socialist countries are like North Korea or Cuba. You know what Mamdani is? A democratic socialist. And you know what else is democratic socialist countries? Norway. Sweden.
Now we're going to do this shit again. Norway is a capitalist country with a welfare structure and a gigantic oil fund. Sweden is a capitalist country with a welfare structure. You know how you know that? Because you can literally ask the leadership whether they are a democratic socialist country.
Norway.
You're not affiliated with me.
Okay, he's like closer to the party of Copenhagen than Pyongyang. What democratic socialism believes in is still capitalism, but it is also like a really good safety net for...
No. Zohran Mamdani literally said he does not like capitalism.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
The Democratic Socialists of America, the wellspring from which he drank, says that they wish to overthrow capitalism entirely.
So they do believe in like free healthcare and free, or like universal at least, and universal like tuition. They want their like citizens to be taken care of while still believing in capitalism. And that's what Mamdani's viewpoint is.
Okay, that is not Mamdani's viewpoint. He's made that clear over and over and over. What I love about people who are always talking about the Scandinavian welfare countries is how wonderful they are. Fine. You want to do Scandinavian welfare levels? Then number one, you got to restrict immigration to basically zero. And two, you also have to increase your tax rates to like 60% on people with a lower middle class income. That's the only way you can pay for this stuff. So if you're willing to do that, then I suppose you can try it. Also, you have to destroy all incentive for innovation. So good luck to you.
Okay, here's another political commentary that nobody asked for, but after seeing the responses after Mamdani has won New York, I think the vast majority of Americans do not understand socialism whatsoever.
Correct!
We have been bred throughout our entire education to believe that socialism is this evil, bad, big government dictatorship thing.
Yes, because it is. Yes, correct.
When in reality, a simple Google search will literally prove that wrong. Socialism is simply just the concept that the good of the people, as a collective, is prioritized by the government over private ownership and private wealth.
Right, which ends with nationalization historically. Because if there's no limiting principle, then literally every piece of private wealth that is currently held ought to be held by, quote unquote, the people.
Like, for example, let's take all of the big billionaire CEOs who own the pharmaceutical industry and who have continued to stack and stack and stack and stack their wealth, making billions, while your pay, number one, stays the same, but your medication cost, your cost of living, goes up, up, and up.
Okay, that's not what's happened historically. This notion of the immiseration of the wage earners is a Marxist lie. It was pushed by Marx when he himself was writing Das Kapital, and it turned out not to be true at all. This lady living in her apartment has all the wealth and wonder of Western civilization because of capitalism. Again, this idea that you have people who are living in total penury in the United States, shacks because Jeff Bezos is rich, is just economic nonsense.
You took everything from me.
Therefore, you're not able to get your medication anymore. You're not able to afford to live, okay? So in an ideal socialist government, if the government actually had the good of the people in mind, it would say, no, Mr. Big Billionaire CEO, you have enough money in one of your pockets to live a lavish, luxurious lifestyle for many lifetimes, and you don't need more. That money that you have made profiting off of poor, sick people should go back to the poor, sick people.
And who is going to generate the innovation? Where do they think this money goes, by the way? This nonsense that billionaires take their money and then they just shovel it in a mattress somewhere and leave it there. That's not what happens. It goes to a bank. Okay, you know what the bank then does? It lends it out to other people who are starting businesses or taking loans. This is why liquidity in the economy leads to people being able to get better interest rates. Everyone's so ignorant. Read an Econ 101 book, seriously.
I don't understand what is so scary and so bad about literally just helping people.
Because you don't understand anything, but you pretend that you do. That's why. Sleep can be your secret weapon. It's cold and flu season. If you do not get your sleep, your immune system is going to drop, and it makes it more likely you will get sick. But here's the thing, hard to get good sleep on a terrible mattress, and this is why you need one made personally for you, which is why Helix is important. Finding the right mattress does not have to be guesswork. Helix makes it super simple with their sleep quiz. They ask you about your preferences and your sleep style, and then they match you with the mattress that's actually right for you. And they're not just making promises. Helix is the most awarded mattress brand out there with glowing reviews from Forbes, Wired, and other trusted experts. The best part, they deliver straight to your door with free shipping, so no hauling anything yourself. Plus, with their Happy with Helix guarantee, you get 120 nights to try it out and a limited lifetime warranty. So if it's not working for you, returns and exchanges are totally seamless. It's basically a risk-free way to finally get the sleep you deserve, especially when you need that sleep, which you will. I mean, you got a busy life. Go to helixsleep.com/Ben for 27% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Ben for 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name into the post-purchase survey so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/Ben.
You often hear critics of Zoran Mondani say socialism doesn't work. And for proof, they point to countries like Venezuela and Cuba, where poverty, corruption, and political repression are widespread. But did you know that about half of the European Union's 140 largest cities are led by mayors from socialist political parties? That includes Paris, Barcelona, and Frankfurt.
And they're doing amazing, by the way. Paris is just a burgeoning wellspring of joy. It's not falling into crime and unlivability. Now, everything is going great in these places. All of these places are great. They're just wonderful.
And if you take a look at the top of the list of countries on the 2025 World Happiness Report, many of them have long histories of socialist governance. I mean, just look at Finland, which is number 1 on the list for the 8th year in a row. It had a socialist prime minister as recently as 2023. One of the 2 main political parties in the country is socialist.
Okay, and then did they nationalize all the resources, or are they a capitalist country with a bunch of social welfare? B. Okay, there are countries that have tried to do this. Sweden tried socialism in the 70s and it failed, and they had to walk all of it back.
Number 2, Denmark currently has a socialist prime minister. 4th on the list, Sweden. Socialists hold a majority of seats in parliament. You may be asking, why do they do so well? High levels of social support, strong trust in others and institutions, high standards of living, economic security. By the way, the U.S. is 24th on the list. Now, I'm not here to endorse Mamdani or socialism, but I do think if you're going to assess him and his politics using other countries where socialism has not produced a high standard of living, you should also include places where it has.
Because it didn't produce the high standard of living. Capitalism produced the high standard of living, and then socialism redistributed some of the gains toward welfare programs. That's the best thing you could say about socialism, is that social welfare programs, which are the safety net, are living off the back of the capitalist structure, which generates all the innovation, all of the wealth, and all of the forward momentum for any economy.
Here's a simple scenario to help you understand the difference between capitalism and socialism. Imagine that somebody hired you to dig a hole for them, okay? But you do not have the means or the tool to dig the hole. In this case, it would be a shovel. So you go ahead and borrow a shovel from someone. And let's say it takes you about an hour of backbreaking labor to go ahead and dig that hole, and in the end, the customer pays you $100. In this scenario, the person who dug the hole is the working class, and the person who lent the shovel is a capitalist, okay? And the question is, who is entitled, who gets ownership of that $100 that was created? Under capitalism, the person who lent the shovel, or the private owner of the means of production being the tool that was needed to do the job, in this case, a simple shovel, is entitled and gets ownership of the $100.
No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. Wrong. Under capitalism, I lend you the shovel for probably $2 because I feel like you're going to give it back to me in an hour. And you can probably find somebody else who'll give you a shovel for $3, so I will charge you $2 so that you can borrow the shovel. And then you'll make $98 for digging the hole. That's how capitalism actually works. You take a loan, you make a profit off of the use of proceeds, and then you pay back the loan. The hell is she talking about? In what world do I lend you a shovel and I take all $100? Now, it's a different thing if I pay you a wage. Then you're getting paid a wage to dig the hole. So if I'm the owner of the company, let's say I'm the capitalist who owns the whole digging company, and I take all the risk, I buy all the shovels, I pay you a salary, I cover your health insurance, and then I pay you a wage, I'm the one who bears the risk. Because if, as it turns out, there are not enough people to pay us for the digging of the holes, then, okay, you go find another job. But I have invested all of the time and effort into building the business structure and going and purchasing all of the mechanisms of production. She doesn't even know. God, everyone is a
Versus under socialism, the laborer, the person who actually dug the hole, is the one who gets ownership of the $100.
Wrong. In socialism, The government decides whether the hole should be dug or not, first of all. If the government decides the hole should be dug, then the government dictates to somebody that they must dig the hole for a price that the government wishes to pay. If that person happens to be a friend of the government, maybe they get paid $10,000 for digging the hole. If it's just a poor person, then they just force them to do it for free.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
And under socialism, there are no private owners of the means of production or the tools or machines that workers need to do their job. Any tool or machine that you need to do the labor that you need to do is provided collectively to you from society.
How does society get it? How does society get it? It's all confiscated from someone else. Amazing. You go to the society tree and it's just filled with shovels or some such.
All right, I get it!
This feels like it's 3 years long, this stupid thing. Another 9 seconds.
That doesn't mean that you can't own your own shovel if you want to. You just can't rent it out and make money off of other people's labor.
Okay, but if you can't,
because you own the means of production.
Okay, so under socialism, then I say I need a shovel. And let's say that the government only has 3 shovels, but there are 4 diggers. I can't go get another shovel. I'm stuck because no one else has a shovel. And there's no incentive for anyone else to ever buy a shovel because they can never lend it out to me. Oh. The Bieber look is not working, nor is the brain beneath the hair.
Who is Justice Beaver?
Only God can do it. 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 Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Only God can do it.
To be fair, that was also me, a Florida resident who just purchased a bunch of real estate to sell to fleeing New York residents after Mamdani's win. What was that? Yeah, this will be 2 videos. It'll have to be because I'm
pissed.